to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And I will remind you that our meeting is being recorded by Westborough TV. Shelby is here from the Board of Selectmen. I don't see any other guests. So if it's convenient, I'd like to start right into the 1:10 p.m. this year.
Great. So the first item on your agenda is the discussion about the community center Phase 1 design, development, and construction timeline. That is on here so that we can just talk about kind of where we're at with that project. As you know, we had several months ago had been looking at the total building, and over the course of those conversations had identified that we would first move forward with the Phase 1, which was inclusive of the majority of the senior center spaces. And so we've really been working towards that. And we received the funding at town meeting to help us complete the design for that Phase 1, but also do further design development for the rest of the building. So the second floor and the sort of the back area of the lower level. We've had a lot of meetings, a lot of community engagement meetings, so we've gotten a chance to receive a lot of feedback from the public. And I think through that, and from the town meeting in the fall, and through that, the select board asked to have a discussion about the timeline of the project. So we had been targeting the upcoming town meeting, the annual town meeting in March, which, as you probably know, would also put it on the same warrant as the library repair project. And we've heard a lot of concern from the community about those projects coming at the same time. And also, we've had a lot of discussion about the opportunity for the library to use a portion of the community center for temporary space. So the select board had a discussion where they talked about postponing or delaying the community center project and to allow the library project to move forward in March as the only building project on the warrant. And allowing then for the library to move into the lower level of the community center temporarily, which is a cost savings to the town for the library project, because otherwise they would have to be renting space in a commercial building. And so last week the select board, or maybe last week I think, the select board met and voted to delay the community center projects at least until the fall town meeting. It's not definitely the fall, but it's at least until the fall town meeting. And to allow the library to temporarily relocate for their project in the lower level, but in the rear of the building. And so if you think about the plans that you've seen, the front part of the building was the Phase 1, the part that would be under construction, and the rear of the building was going to be sort of dealt with later. So the library is invited to sort of set up in the rear of the building. They'll probably use the front of the building, but the idea being that if this were to come forward if the community center project comes forward before the library project is done, that they would be able to continue to use the space in the rear, and we would be able to move forward with construction in the front. Yeah, go ahead. Bill, please.
Would that be allowed with construction going on to have someone in the other part of the building?
Yeah. So we had a walkthrough last week with library folks and community center design team folks, but importantly the building department and also the fire department to talk about how that would work. So there's certainly a lot of details we'll have to figure out, but as a concept, they were supportive and felt like we could do that.
Construction will be safe.
Yeah. So
So the library will come first in March,
right.
and they'll be able to move into the lower level from the community center. And the senior center will be pushed off to fall project.
So there's a definitely till fall at the earliest. I just don't want to commit to that because I think what we're really waiting for, which we'll still get on the same timeline, is the updated cost estimates based on the complete design. So in January, we'll still get updated cost estimates like we would have anyway, and that will really inform, I think, the timing of the project. That being said, I will tell you that the pool, upgrading and preparing the pool is on the capital plan for fiscal '25. So that will be an article in the town meeting as sort of a standalone project. So that would be able to move forward, assuming it gets funded at town meeting, would be able to move forward more immediately and would be available for use.
And will that be an article on March 25th?
Yes, yep. And the other thing that we're looking to do in March is to replace the rooftop units on the building. That's a project that we identified, but it's we would like to move it forward anyway because there's incentives available from the utility, which will make it a lot cheaper than if we wait. So those are two things that would move forward more quickly. I also think that there's been just in terms of how the community center supports the senior center, I think that there's been a lot of discussions and will continue to be as we get a new director on about offering more programming just even in the second level of the building.
So Kristen, do you think the community center would probably start whatever remodeling start in 2026, you think? You don't know.
I think we really want to see the updated numbers because then we'll be able to think more clearly about the timeline of
Okay.
when the debt hits for the library project and this project.
But so the library project going first, do they have a timeline? Are they supposed to wrap up by 2026?
Well, no. So their timeline, they want to move into their temporary space by May if it gets funded in March, and then they would begin their project June or July, and they anticipate being out of the current building for 12 to 18 months. And that's really kind of the end of that is really contingency because building projects, and so I think it's essentially would be 2 years from now. I think would be the library project.
Okay, one more question. So holding off on the community center, which makes perfect sense to me given what's going on.
Sure.
That does mean that whatever estimates we get in January, February, March, we really can't count on, I'm assuming.
Right.
Do we have a feel for, is it gonna be 5%? Is it gonna be 10%? Because, because I was thinking, how much would it cost to rent space? Renting space for the library, it would cost money, but there's a cost-benefit analysis, right?
Sure.
So it's going to cost us more money to work in the community center. And maybe, no, I don't know the numbers, obviously, but I'm just wondering, and no one can predict, it could be, go up 10% a year, we have no idea. But I was just wondering if that kind of analysis has been done.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So the library project is currently carrying $750,000 for lease payments. So I think they were anticipating about $700,000, given the space that was the space that was put forward that was bid on for the project for the relocation space.
And that's for the whole year, for a year?
That's for the duration, so
Oh, the whole
12 to
time.
18 months.
Okay,
And then they also, I believe, have $250,000 for fit-up expenses and moving within the project. So I don't know exactly how much they'll reduce their estimate by, because they might have to do some things within the space. Our architect, our design team on the community center side, originally, you might remember, we had shown a slide where we were estimating a 5% escalation per year. I think what they're seeing now right now in the market, so this could also change,
Sure.
is that projects are actually coming in better than they had
oh,
expected.
that's good.
And so I think using sort of the current market, as well as understanding the details of the project more clearly, because we're much further along in design, we'll just get a much better estimate. So I certainly wouldn't say it's not gonna be less if we wait, but I think we need to just really understand, exactly how we wanna time it based on the updated numbers, which is based on the final design, because the initial numbers we saw were based on design development, so I think 25% design. But now, as you all know, we're looking at, fixtures and furniture and really trying to finalize
Yeah.
so we can get a better cost estimate.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any, or do you mind if I recall on Shelby? Do you have any thing to add?
So, I won't repeat anything that Christie already shared. I think she captured our discussion well. The one thing I would add is I think it's just the general sentiment of the board, based on what the public is saying, is that even if we did that analysis, it was a great question. The appetite in the town to carry multiple projects at one time is just not there. And so I think we could put all the numbers we want to make all the mathematical sense of it, even if that were to be the case, even with inflation costs and everything. And my sense, and I feel like I can speak for the board because we had a 5-0 vote on this in discussion, which of course you can watch through Westborough TV, is that, there's not a lot of community support and push behind the community center yet. I think the time will help us through the other programs that are already ongoing now. When the libraries in there, it gives everyone more exposure to that building. There are still grumblings and rumblings out there of why can't we just put the library there and the senior center in the same floor. And we also had that discussion as a board and talked about the fact that the square footage just doesn't bear itself out. So just want you to know that the board very much understands that. We're committed to what we've already talked about in phase 1. But I share this because as excited as we all are, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, it's going to require every person here and every person to get behind this project and to talk about it and to get people to engage in it. Because if we don't, what we don't want is we don't want a 10 margin vote at town meeting. That's just, since as long as you guys have all been in this town a lot longer than I have, and at town meetings, and as much as people kind of go, oh, it's another project and whatever, but generally the town rallies around those projects to invest in its future, whether it be schools or town hall or fire department or what have you, and that's what we want for this building as well. So I think pumping the brakes, allowing the estimates to that investment already to come forward gives us a better sense of what are we looking at. And it has and I think the library has earned its place in line, to say the least. And the library actually had a mechanical failure this past weekend, I think it was. So they actually had to shut down because of that. And that building needs some help. So anyway, so I'm happy to answer any questions on behalf of the board, but
May I ask a question? So I know very little about the finances of this town. I know the majority of the budget goes towards education.
Slight majority.
Slight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Christy can speak to that. I mean, if you think, I'm gonna say 58 to 60%.
It's
Is that-
about, yeah, 60%.
Okay,
Yep.
all right. So I must have looked at old budget numbers, but anyway. I think part of the resistance to the community center is purely financial with respect to the fact that it affects our pocketbooks, right?
You bet.
And there's a nice percentage of senior citizens in this town. And most of us have, fixed income, right?
Yep.
Whether you get social security and a pension, or you're using
Sure.
401k, whatever.
Yeah.
So we had talked at one point about needing some talking points about the community center, and I don't remember if it was Kim who brought it up. I think it's important to address how exactly the community center is going to impact our pocketbook. So I talked to the finance director, and I may have misunderstood him, but he said that in this year, because of the loan taken out for the purchase of the building, of the increase in the taxes, $80, I think it was, and 88 cents was due to,
Toward paying the debt, yep.
yeah. To me, that doesn't sound like a lot of money.
Well, when you do, it's all relative, right? So when, a lot of times, I mean, how many times we have budget discussions, I'm gonna back up your question a little bit, and we have these discussions around what does the budget look like, right? And the increase to an annual budget, right? And we talk about the average annual increase to the average single-family home. I think everyone goes, where's that average single-family home? Because my tax bill doesn't look like that, right? But, and then we talk about cutting the budget back, right? So level funded service, let's just say Christy and her team bring forward a level funded service budget. Let's say the superintendent does the same. It becomes, the average amount to the taxpayer becomes small when you say, well, if we don't do this, it's $2. And I think a lot of people look in there and go, okay, well, $2, right? Like, so you're right, $80 over the course of 12 months. I mean, to me, that's a very reasonable investment in the future,
I agree.
but again, it's all relative to someone who is like making really difficult decisions on a month-to-month
true.
basis.
That's true.
$7 more a month, $8 more a month is like, I don't care about the community center.
I agree with you. I
Right?
agree with you, but
And so that, and there's a lot of uncertainty, I think, in the world in general, right?
Yes.
What does 2025 look like? So
Yes.
so I think to your point about the talking points is important. The rule of thumb is that if you've ever been in any sort of communications role, it's like you have to communicate things 7 times with the same message before people go, really? Like, I didn't know that.
Correct.
And you're like, yeah, I've been saying it 7 times, right?
Correct.
So what we have to be positive about is, right, like we've maybe already communicated, I don't know, 3 to 4 times, so we've just got 3 more times to go and people are gonna start
Yes.
getting it, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, yes, I think that's all part of the community engagement that's already happened.
Yeah.
And it's gonna matter when we all are singing from that same hymnals,
Yeah.
so to speak.
So-
And I'll be very honest with you, at the last town meeting, without kind of going too far back here, there wasn't one person from our senior set, I'm gonna say, that stood up at town meeting and said, we need this.
It was that attorney that stood up at the October.
I know Mark Silverberg did, I'd have to go back and roll the tape, but not one person from, I'm gonna say our senior community, call it 70 plus, pick a number, said, folks, we need this and here's why. That message on town meeting floor, again, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here because we're pumping the brakes, but is going to be essential. If this group doesn't advocate for itself,
That's true.
it's
Yeah.
not gonna be there,
Yeah.
right? So, again, we don't have to worry about that now, we can, talk about like, how do we do that, what are the messaging points and around
Yeah.
that? Who else could speak, who's comfortable speaking, all of that,
Yeah,
but,
and I know I always forget that this is being recorded.
That's okay.
Well, because something I say may come back to bite me someday,
Well,
but.
it hasn't happened to me yet too
Okay.
much, but
So-
don't
so
try-
We won't know who you
You're
are.
probably in safe
I have the back
grounds.
of my head, always, because I've told Karen I want the back of my head. So, I can pretend they don't know who I am. So, I think, number one, yeah, I'm very middle class, and I'm single. And so, I know what it's like to have a budget, I know that I'm very fortunate, I can go on a vacation, but I can't go to 3 European vacations, I have to
Right.
decide, I could go out to dinner, but I can always go to fancy dinner, so I have to make choices every single year, so I'm very fortunate, I'm able to make those choices. I also want to just, what I said about the majority of the budget going to education, I don't want anyone to misunderstand. I think, if you gave me $100 and you told me to allocate it, most of the money I would put in education. Is it a direct benefit to me? No, I think the community center is a direct benefit to me,
Sure.
because I can actually go take a class, go, to some sort of program or whatever. But I do not want to live in a community or in a world that does not value education. And we do put most of our money into education. I went to the library this weekend to get a book out, and I talked to a wonderful woman there. And I said, I've been so focused on just learning about the Council of Aging and getting to know people and the community center that I didn't really know what was going on in the library. And she had the time, she explained to me what was going on. She told me the roof has been on since 1908. I think it's a slate roof, and slate roofs do last a long time, but it needs to be repaired. She told me about the heating system. She told me what they were going to be doing. And to be honest, I was thinking, my goodness, what has been going on all these years? Why hasn't more money been allocated to library, which, by the way, is busier than all of the libraries in our surrounding town? So I don't want you to tell me what happened over the last few years, but
I will answer that question. There were intentional delays of not investing because of what was then the renovation project. We're not gonna put big amounts of money or even modest amounts of money toward repairing the heating system, whatever, because of then the library building grant through the state that we were pursuing. Ultimately, that project failed, we know that whole history. So it wasn't, I wanna be very clear, and I am on camera, it wasn't neglect of the building, it wasn't like, because people like to say that, oh, we don't take care of our buildings, that is completely false. It is not true, but just like our homes, municipal buildings have to be maintained, and they
Absolutely.
cost a lot of money. I mean, we, prevailing wages, it's just much more expensive, it usually requires someone to study it, and, it's just, it's more complicated than residential, maintenance.
I agree.
Even more than commercial maintenance.
yes, so.
So, so I just wanna make sure.
I just wanted to say, on the record, that I'm not saying take away from educational budget to do other things. I'm not saying that at all. To me, education should be our number one priority. I do not want to live in a town where people are uneducated, and the kids are our future. So that's all.
The chair will recognize you, not me. Okay, you recognize it.
So I just want to say, in reference to the community center, the new one, what I'm hearing is, from the seniors,
Yep.
is that they were a bit upset about the initial cost just to buy the building.
Yep.
Now, they're very concerned, and were never told, when they had to vote on it, what it would cost for the renovations, and how will that impact our taxes.
So-
And there's a lot of us in this town.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge, because we needed to you have to get to full design to really understand the actual cost. So what we used to do with building projects is we would come to town meeting with an estimated cost, and then we would ask for the money for the full design and construction. And I think in the last several years, we've tried to do the design in one funding article. And then once you develop the design, you get a better construction cost. And so that's why you saw these large ranges of estimated cost. And then in January, we'll have a more clear cost. And that's when you can develop like what it will cost over a 20-year borrow and all of that. I mean, our estimates for the purchase of the building, the impact to the average single family were actually higher than what it ended up being. Like we thought it was gonna be over $100 and it ended up being 80 because you once you get the money, then you can go to borrow and then you get the interest rate.
Right.
So we want to provide all of those details. I think the frustration that people were having is that they wanted to know the full cost of the entire building, and we hadn't even decided what the lower level was going to be. And so I understand that frustration on both sides because we want to know the answers to the questions, but we don't necessarily, but we needed money to get there. So I think in January we'll have a much better idea of what the total cost will be. That being said, there's also, I think by the fall, we might have a better idea of how much we could sell this building for, which would be an offset or potential funding source. So maybe some more information about how the cost, might be handled in terms of funding.
And the select board did ask Christie for that, like the sequencing of the debt as we're going with these other projects. But I want to go back way in the time machine just for a moment, because I think that, and I'm not immune to it, I've heard people say, well, we should have known all of this before we bought the building, right? And with all due respect, that's completely unrealistic. It would not have been realistic, and even if in the ideal situation, had we asked the seller, Grossman Development, hey, we need 3 months to kind of get some things together. Number one, it still would have felt rushed. The town would have been like, what are we doing here? How do we know? There wouldn't have been enough time. Even if we had 6 months, no seller, no commercial seller, even in that building would have said, I'm gonna hold all bids, all deals for you. Would they have? We don't know because we didn't ask them. We didn't take that path. So it's completely unrealistic for the public to think we should have had all the answers, to Christie's point, because if we had had all the answers and we didn't get community engagement, people would have been on the other side of us, saying, well, wait a second, you've decided this, you haven't asked the seniors, you haven't asked the community, et cetera, et cetera. So the select board made the decision to go forward with the 8.8 million. We own that, right? If you don't like it, vote us out, and that's okay, right? Get other people in. But not only did we do that, we did that in alignment with multiple studies, the strategic plan, the master plan, that, let's go on and on and on. And finance committee and the planning board and others weighed in on this. So this wasn't a decision made in a vacuum, and it was made ultimately by town meeting. We decided to put it on the warrant. We only get 5 votes, right? Christie doesn't even get a vote, or just Kim. So I hear that, right? And so there's a bit of sticker shock, and I don't want to gloss over that. But at the same time, look at what it cost to build the Fales School building. I was on that project, right? We just finished the Forbes building not too many years ago. For anyone to think you're going to take an $8.8 million building and throw $2 million at it and be like, woo, we got a community center. You're smoking something. I can't see it any other way. So
their concern is, okay, it's $88 now for the cost of the building.
$80.
What will happen to them?
Yeah,
$80.88.
Oh,
Just
sorry.
this year.
That's okay.
Just this year.
Just
The $8 is the big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
So that's the first part, but once the second part or the
what's
third
that
part,
gonna feel like?
whatever
Yep.
comes in,
Yep.
their concern is how they're gonna pay
Right.
those taxes. And it could go much higher
Sure.
than
So
Well, and also just what Shelby was saying, so we're saying that, we've said all along, and you see it with the library project and other projects, you don't know the cost of construction until you've done the design. So we would have had to come to a town meeting to ask for funding to do the design on a building to decide whether or not we wanted to purchase it.
No, I understand that, I'm
Yeah.
just saying
It's
what
the
I'm
real-
Yeah,
hearing
no,
from
I
the
understand.
seniors,
Yeah.
that they're very concerned
Of course.
what the final tax bill for them will
Sure.
be and how do they pay for it.
Right.
Sure. And I think I would extend that to, it's not just seniors that are concerned with that, because there are a lot of people of many age groups that have contacted me saying, what are we doing here, Shelby? So I think that the best approach at this point is, we've made the investment in the building and we're using it, so that's great. It's not like it's sitting, unoccupied, so we're getting benefit from there. We've got the capital items item that Christy mentioned around the pool. Wouldn't that be cool if that could be used? And we've already made the financial commitment around design. That work is moving forward so that we get those answers that, you're asking and that Christy's talking about. And the library project, which we know needs to go forward, is, we're yielding to that, if you will. And I think that from a taxpayer perspective, look, everyone says, well, why aren't my taxes going down? They're never gonna go down. They're just never gonna go down. I don't know how else to say it, if you think they're going down,
Never.
I don't know.
Play the lottery.
Right, because things cost more. We can get into a whole financial discussion, maybe that would be helpful at some point, but, Christy would probably be better to give that than me, but as your expenses go up, the town's expenses go up too, right? Contracts go up, all of that. So it's a matter of how do we spend? And so I think we're taking the best approach now. And yes, we have the building and we're committed to that. And I think we're all gonna look back, God willing, we're here, 5, 10, 25 years from now, we're gonna be like, you know what? We were part of that.
The seniors,
Well,
all
but
of that.
maybe we will or maybe we won't, right? I might not be here tomorrow.
Just
No.
barely.
But if 2028, 2029, that building is done, and we're doing a ribbon cutting, and we're we are able to put our print on that, and it's this amazing thing. It's I get goosebumps about that.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not just for us, right? Because we're a community, right? It's we got to think about this as it's not just about what's good for Shelby or Linda or whomever, right? You're not singling Linda out, but it's about Westborough as a community, right? And to kind of.
Yeah.
It's not like your gravestone, but to put your thumbprint on it, be we were a part of that, that's a pretty powerful thing.
It
So,
is.
anyway.
So I live at Chauncey Lake, and the reason I ended up applying for the open board position is because there's a group called Chauncey Matters that
yes, I
you
heard.
know Rich and
Yeah.
that it's a committee whose purpose is to make sure that we get involved in the community.
That's great.
And it's been wonderful. So I was thinking I was just gonna be volunteering in different groups, next time applying and I'm a board.
You have camera and all that stuff.
I don't know how this happened.
Talking with Karen about your best angle and all that stuff.
Yes. It was very, very upsetting, but I did it. So anyway, so I,
Sincerely would like to say, I think we have a vested interest in supporting this project. Hundreds, if not thousands, of man-hours have already been committed to this project. Some of us on the council, not everybody could make it, we were taken to 4 other senior centers to see what old, what new, and what was in the middle. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I really would not like to be going down a set of rickety stairs, which we did see at one of the senior centers. Just saying. And I really, really feel that as part of our desire to serve this town and to serve on this committee, it's vitally important that we share not the Gertie gloom noise, no opinions, but be positive. This is how we are going to grow forward. Our town is growing. And with the grace of God, it will continue to grow. There will be more people here. Yes, the library needs renovations, but somebody made a comment that they really didn't care about the three, and this is my sticking point, and I apologize. They didn't care about the 300-year-old church beside the library. They kept moving. And pretty soon we were losing part of the church parking lot that we have shared for years with the town. So I am happy to know that we are going forward. The library needs to be renovated. I think having space at the community center temporarily, and who knows, we may find as we get into this more that people are going to love and say, well, can't we have a satellite library at the community center? I mean, this is a wide open door for us, and we need to be willing to get behind it and support it. So,
I don't think Martha nor I were saying we're not supportive or behind it. We're presenting what people are telling us, and this is the forum in which
Absolutely.
to say that.
Absolutely.
It does not mean that we are not
Absolutely.
forward or supporting
Yeah.
it. This is where we tell people on the board what people are telling us.
Exactly. And I think what rumblings I hear are really financial. And
Yeah.
and we have to, those talking points, and you're right, $80 a year might be a lot for some people, and I agree. But I think we have to educate people, because I don't think they have a realistic handle on what this is costing. And I don't think this is a nice to have. And what I wanted to piggyback on what you said, so we had our truancy meeting last Monday, and I had to give my little speech update on what's going on with the Council on Aging, the senior center and all that. And I said, and Chief Purcell was there, because he was a guest speaker, so he'll back me up. I said, what an exciting time. And we don't tape our meetings, but I did say that.
We believe you.
What an exciting time to be part of Westborough and be part of the Council on Aging. That I am just, like I have a vote, I have a say. It's not just, I'm volunteering, whatever. And I said, because of two things. Number one, and I said there are things that are gonna be here long after I'm gone. So, I'm older than I look. So, I said two things. Number one, we get to be involved in replacing the director of the senior center. How exciting is that? That we get to actually have a say, to have something on who's gonna have a vision, who's gonna, think about things maybe differently than we've thought about things that, 10, 20, 41 years ago, that's very exciting. And then the community center. How exciting is that? That we're gonna help design a center that's gonna be around long after I'm gone. Not Christy and Kim, because they're much younger, but maybe you two, maybe long after I'm gone, not you. So anyway, I think it's such an exciting time to be involved in this town,
And I think the enthusiasm is awesome. I also think open and honest conversations like we're having are
Important.
really important, because it helps with communication, so it helps with like where are our blind spots.
Yes.
They're not always easy conversations to have. They're even worse when you have to have them on camera, but we just have to pretend that Karen's
They're not
not
there.
here, and it's okay because I like to call them kitchen table conversations, right? What are people really saying around the coffee shop and the kitchen table that, so we need to be aware of that. So
Okay.
thank you for the opportunity to be part of the conversation. I'll go back to my chair here.
You
You can call me up whenever you need me.
I skipped right over the November meeting minutes.
No, they're at the
Okay.
end.
Can we go back?
They're at the end.
But they changed the,
It's on
we
the
can
bottom.
do it
Oh,
at the
it's
end.
on the
It's,
board.
it's okay. It's a little different.
They'll be coming to take me to the old people.
No.
No, you're fine. I think Kim for talking about the new director position.
Oh, I had one more comment on the community center, if that's okay. I'm looking around here, and the only person that I know that has actually been involved in activities that are taking place at the new community center is me, unless somebody else that I don't know about goes to a class that I don't go to. And I think that's important. I think that going there, the people that have been coming to, say, Strength and Balance, they've been playing Rummy Cube there at that's not a definite, but they've been playing, Tai Chi has moved. The more people and more classes we can get there, because I think there's a major difference when you attend a class there than in the room where you're sharing billiards with birthday lunch, with Rummy Cube, and you're trying to do Strength and Balance.
And piano chords.
And piano chords. So I think that the more classes we can get over there, as long as it can accommodate the time and all that kind of thing, is really a thing to get a buzz going. Because I think the people that go there now
Yeah.
are enjoying it.
I just wrote myself a note to go.
Okay,
Because I
You're
think,
on.
and we'll talk later about what class we're taking.
sure.
Okay.
That's
so-
a good lead-in to the staff coming in to talk about programming, so yeah.
Oh, okay, so
No, no,
I
no,
just
that's good.
wanted to,
That's great.
I'm not saying that anybody should be going to any of these classes, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, just from personal experience, it can create a buzz slowly but surely. Yeah. Okay,
So,
thank you.
I thought you were looking directly at me.
Oh, no, I wasn't looking directly at you, because I thought I saw you.
Okay, I don't know, I saw you looking at me.
Good, so nobody saw me taking ballet class.
That's what I mean, there might be classes that I didn't see people
Did they
at.
have ballet?
I went to the initial one, but I was so involved with the fair, I didn't have time to go twice a week to that, so.
I was ready to go to
I'll
ballet
get
class
back
and it
to it.
was canceled, so hopefully I'll
Yeah.
be back on.
Ready?
Okay,
Okay, all right,
So,
go ahead.
the next one.
You're up.
so just wanted to let you all know on the heels of the, we had a meeting, off-cycle meeting of the Council on Aging on November 12th. Christy brought to you a revised job description for the new title is Senior and Social Services Director. The council voted to recommend support the changes to that job description. The select board did approve the changes at their meeting November 19th. So the job description was revised, the position was reclassified a grade higher on the compensation schedule, and it has been posted. So it is out there.
Oh, great.
We indicated, I have a couple printouts of the posting. It is also available on the town's website under employment opportunities. We have it posted on the town's website. We have shared it with the Mass Municipal Association, which is one of the places that a lot of people who are looking for municipal job opportunities will go. It's been shared with the Mass Councils on Aging, as well as a wide variety of human service providers in the community and beyond. So we've really pushed it out there. We did indicate in the job ad that we expect to conduct the interviews the first week in January, so just trying to give folks a time frame. With the holiday, the end of the month, I think we're anticipating reviewing resumes potentially right before the holidays, inviting folks in for that first week. So I'm just excited that it's out there, and I know it's gotten some buzz. I've had a couple of people reach out, just want to know more. I've had folks who have indicated that they have thoughts about where else to share it, so we will continue to do that.
Kim, can I just ask a question? Do we post that on LinkedIn as well?
Yes,
We do.
we
Under
typically
Town of
do.
Westborough, is that what?
Yeah, I'll double check that it's up there.
Okay.
We typically do. We try to push it out through LinkedIn. We also try to push it out through social media and just hit as many
Okay, thanks.
different places.
When did it get posted, actually, do you know? Do you remember the date it got posted? Has
I don't
it been
remember
up
the
for a
exact
couple
date.
of
Would it say
weeks
it
or
on
what?
the-
I think it says on the town's website.
I think it was a week
Maybe a
ago.
week,
Maybe.
A week?
I-
a week maybe.
I think it's been a week.
I was just curious if you received any resumes or any.
I think we've gotten some
That's
initial.
good. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Very good. I don't recall with the holiday, but on our website it has the
No, I was
date
just
posted.
wondering if then there would have been any response already if it has been out for a week or two.
We've had some. I don't think we've gotten many yet.
It sounds like the community advocate did an article, someone reached out, okay.
It's great.
So,
Last Friday. Well, I get it in the mail Friday, I think it was published,
Okay.
distributed Wednesday.
Because we got, someone had contacted us just saying that they thought it was some
12/3.
good changes, so.
December 3rd it was posted.
December 3rd?
Yep.
Yes, it says it.
So, and as you may recall, at the meeting on the 12th, the individuals who will participate on the interview panel were identified. So we will move forward with that process, and then we'll anticipate providing an update at your January meeting. Great. I don't know that we'll have completed the process. I'd like to think,
Hopefully it will have
but
started.
hopefully we'll be well into the process at that point.
We also
And
did give
when you
an,
get so many, or wait till you think you have everyone?
No, we leave the position open until filled, so that if we do start interviewing and get additional candidates in, we can continue to consider them.
Okay.
we also did let the finance committee know that we might need to go to them so that we can bring someone on sooner. If the timeline works out, that we can bring someone in
Right.
sooner, so.
I have a question. So, when a person is selected to be the executive director, if you will that happen before the building is completed for the senior center? In other words, will they take over this operation here?
Yes. We anticipate being able to extend, we're hoping to complete the recruitment process in January. So yes, they would
Okay.
be stepping in and taking on operations here in this building. We did, in the job ad, specifically called out and put a link to the information on the website about the building project. I do think that's something that hopefully is attractive to candidates, that they're coming in, no pun intended, on the ground floor of something. So, okay, pun intended, but, so we're that, and I think, hopefully if they look through that and understand the potential there, you've got a candidate who is looking for the challenge and the excitement that offers.
Any other questions or comments? We move along to the program and service updates.
I think Kim is going to grab Stephanie and Mary Ellen. Do you want to do the minutes while you're waiting?
Sure, if you want, that's fine by me. Sounds like a good plan. So we're going to jump back to the November minutes. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes?
I'm sorry, I didn't get a copy because I came in a few minutes late.
So, she's talking about the fourth first.
Oh, but you did receive it on email, right?
I don't recall.
You didn't receive the
I sent it all
I have it
attached
right here.
to your email.
You did not receive.
There's two of them. We're talking about two
Is
different
anyone
things.
sitting here?
We're talking about the
We got the
fourth.
ones
Yeah,
that
before.
we emailed.
The fourth was the one that's sent
I
out by
sent that
email.
out attached to everybody.
Yeah, so, just to clarify, there are two different minutes. The one that we're doing first is from the meeting on the 4th.
Okay.
And that was sent out by email to
I
everyone.
did read that one, but I
That's the
thought we were
one
talking
you're
about
asking.
November
No,
12th.
that's about the 4th first. We
Oh,
have to do them
the
in order.
4th, yes, okay.
I am sure everybody here knows these two awesome ladies that have joined us.
So we're not gonna
Do you
finish.
want to do a
Finish
motion
the
for the
minutes.
minutes?
Since we started that.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Should we just wrap up the minutes first?
Yeah, We
You want
started.
to table the minutes and talk
Yeah,
to them?
they
or Table the
are,
minutes.
I think that their presence takes precedence over the minutes because that leaves Kristen out there alone.
herself,
So I
yeah.
think we need to think about that. So I would like to proceed at this point if everybody is in agreement.
No, makes sense.
Here,
Makes sense.
Okay, can I go first, Jeff?
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a brief synopsis of what I've been doing and what I have done. The conference was very successful, in my opinion. I met a lot of vendors to set up events here. Everything from doctors to everyday seminars. So it was nice to meet all the vendors when I was able to get in there. So I'm gonna start with, I'm just gonna go by my flyers to refresh my memory. So we did a do-it-yourself flower class this past month. It was very fun, it was beautiful for Thanksgiving. We followed it up with a boxwood decorating class. Also lovely for Christmas. Every month we do the birthday lunch. I send out birthday cards every month. It's more like a birthday poster, it's not really a card. But roughly about 100 go out. Roughly about 100 go out every month, and we have 45-ish that show up for the birthday lunch, so I think it's successful. This is what I'm excited about, and I would love people to talk it out. Generation Bridges is the high school students. They interact with the seniors about activities and conversations. It's running through December to May, and I really think it's amazing that the kids want to come here and talk with seniors. So if anyone knows anyone that has time, I would love to talk this up. Generation Bridges.
Could I just interrupt there for a second?
Yeah.
On the birthday lunch, I just want to go back to that. This last month, the November birthday lunch, we celebrated Bunny Parent's 103rd birthday.
Wow, wow.
And she is still,
Wow.
active and doing
Amazing.
great.
Wow.
And that was also the day that we had the
We had some
kids from
homeschool
the,
children come in, and they wanted to give back to the community. They made birthday cards, they made bracelets. They, they were very well behaved until the last 10 minutes, then the show.
too much cake and
But
ice
it
cream.
was really nice. They reached out to me, they wanted to come out in the community, and I thought it was great. Not something that we would probably do every birthday lunch, but I think it was very nice.
Very nice.
Mariana, excuse me, what was on the Generation Bridges?
Yes.
What day of the week is that?
So they're typically on Wednesdays. I have all the dates listed through May, but I want to say it's Wednesday.
Yeah, and if there's no school, they don't show up here.
Yeah.
Okay, is it once a month? Or once a week?
So I've got December 11th, January 8th,
Okay.
January 22nd, February 12th, February 26th.
It used to be weekly, but that's hard for them with their,
Yep.
and so now
No, that's good.
like
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a month.
April
Makes a
9th,
difference in commitment.
May 15th, and May 28th, it wraps
Perfect.
up.
So what is it, all conversational?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some like conversation groups? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not on their cell phones or anything like
Yeah.
that, they're actually talking.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And I also
And the
have a
kids,
talking
too.
book library coming. I personally don't have the best eyesight, so I don't read a lot, but talking books, I mean, seniors and eyesight, well, I'm just trying to get people to walk through the door with different ideas, different talks. Talking library book, I think it could be very nice. We have Dr. Daniel Meininger come in to talk about benefits of cardio strength training and stretching. He's doing like a little workshop coming up in January, January 15th. So it's a little workshop. I have Mass Save coming in to talk about saving energy, little table they're gonna set up, talk about how we can all save. I have Home to Heart Meals coming. They're gonna do a little presentation and they're gonna bring samples. So they're gonna talk about, you know, some people really need to
When
have
is
meals
that?
in their fridge and.
What date is that?
They are coming January 23rd at 10 a.m. Okay, so,
That's
and they
so
are
well
bringing
cooked.
samples. This is kind of an interesting class that I've got. Faina Kaufman has a love for art and she has a love for music. So she wants to combine it. It's kind of like a takeoff from our classical music program. She's gonna do it once a month when classical music is not meeting here. But she's gonna play the piano and she's gonna talk about her art. And all the classical music people want to participate. It's kind of like on the same idea of his program, but she's got a real passion for art and music. I have vascular doctor coming in to talk about vein health. They're going to come in January 28th at 12 o'clock. It's going to be a lunch and learn. I think we're going to have American chop suey and talk over vascular health. Earlier this year I did a nutrition lunch and learn with Catherine Norse, which was very, very nice. We served a healthy lunch and she gave background on nutrition. So that was that.
And lunch will be served, I see.
And, yeah, lunch was served. Stephanie actually helped me make a lentil soup, and it was good. It was really healthy. And just this morning, I met with a lady, Etka Jane, and she volunteers with a place called Volunteering for Seniors org. And they want to come in, kind of like a revolving Tuesday or something, like once every Tuesday every month. And they have the Bollywood dancing. I think it's really good with multicultural. They have chair yoga. They have podiatry classes. They have screenings with doctors in mental wellness. They have done fairs in the past, like health fairs. So we still have talks, but it sounds like it's a win-win. They do not charge anything, and they love to work with seniors. So I'm going to give that a whirl.
What's the name of the group again, Mary?
It's called Volunteering for Seniors org. If you pull it up online, she said they have lots of pictures out there. And they've worked with a number of senior centers, but she said they have never come here. So I think I'm going to give them the opportunity to.
Sounds great.
Yeah. I also have a new volunteer, Jerry Breacher, who does computer help and phone help. He was doing it twice a month, but I really think once a month is sufficient, because then he can pretty much get a full morning of people. But he helps people get on their cell phones, get on their computers. So he's been very helpful. I would like to start up some sort of a men's group. So if anyone has any ideas, or I know Southborough's men's group really does well. So I might work a little bit with Southborough, see if we can get a men's group here at the senior center. I would also like to work on a book club. If people want to come and do book club, I think that would be great. On June 4th, we're going to Polder Park. I have 20 tickets. They're $21 a ticket, but it gives you a $5 credit and discount in the pro shop. So I asked them to pick an area that seniors can easily get to out of the sun, under, cover if it's drizzly. So that should be a fun event, and need be, maybe we can get a coach bus and open it up to more people. Planning a Valentine's lunch. Actually, Faina Kaufman, the one with the class that she's doing with the art and the music, she has offered to play piano for us. And she doesn't play your everyday pop, but it'll be beautiful music, what she's playing, a little different, but we're gonna have her play piano. I would like to get a mindfulness and meditation class going. I'm working on that.
That would be wonderful.
And I've just recently connected with the WRTA with Mondays and Wednesdays. Sometimes when I can't find a volunteer, I can at least work with email through the WRTA and help our seniors get to Worcester on Mondays and Wednesdays and handle all the computer help, typing and putting in the information. So I've helped 2 or 3 people this week with the WRTA. I have worked with American Tower Corporation. They have sent out holiday cards. They make holiday cards. They bring them to us. We put them in the Meals on Wheels, caregiver meals, but they're all beautiful homemade cards. We delivered over 40 turkey dinners for Thanksgiving. Thank you, Guido. Your group did an amazing job. What else? George Fortier is setting up a pickleball information recruit on December 19th. He's excited to get people in his group to play pickleball. And I think they filmed him today at the YMCA about his pickleball. We've booked talks with the library here, probably, I think through March. They're coming once a month to do library talks. Let's see, we're starting up Soup for the Soul, Guido, January.
We're planning to.
Okay. And I'm planning, it's a day trip called Funny Girl. I'm working with Unicorn Travel, who I met at the conference. I believe it's at the Hanover Theater. And we're trying to get a nice bus trip to the Hanover Theater. First and third Thursday, we do the caregiver meals. Meals on Wheels, 4 routes go out Monday through Friday. Medical rides. So that's what I've been doing. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't know if that's enough.
Yeah.
Do we have room on the calendar for all this?
Well, Kristen and I and Stephanie like to, we're trying to get ahead of the picture, so we're planning ahead.
Good job.
Great job.
I'd like to
Okay.
suggest one more.
Oh, no.
Just one more.
We haven't had a refresher on recycling for a long
Okay.
time, and with the change that's just happened the last couple of months, people are very confused.
Okay.
So if the sooner the better. I think for something like that would be a good winter time, maybe during one of our lunch and learns, or maybe
Recycle lunch and learn, sure.
something like
Yeah.
that.
I want to partner with the health department.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to think, am I forgetting anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Well, this might be the right time then to say a few words about Bob.
Okay.
As a volunteer, you're talking about volunteers
Oh my
as well
gosh, he
there.
is, you want me to talk about
Well,
what?
you would.
Yeah, he's an amazing man.
I don't know if everybody knows, I think most people here knew Bob Sylvester. Passed away last week. He's been the chief cook here for many, many years, the volunteer of the year back in 2015, and again last year with his team,
Yeah.
the cooking team. He cut back quite a bit personally, but he was still leading the team. And doing the Soup for the Soul every winter, doing the caregiver meals twice a month. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for Bob recruiting me into that cooking group and then expanded out to all sorts of other things. But Bob was an amazing guy, 87 years old, and he was still going strong. I really missed him this last meal because got there to pick up our supplies, and Bob hadn't called in the order, and there were certain things you have to order a week in advance. So we had to make do, changed our schedule. So Bob was a great guy. I think a lot of people came here as much to socialize with Bob as to eat the food that he was making. So we're really going to miss him.
Yeah.
And he was always fun to work with, whether it was here in this kitchen or over at the KFC Thanksgiving. And for a while, we were assembling the caregiver meals at the KFC during COVID. And he was always right there, right on top of it. And it was just such an honor to work with him.
So his services are this afternoon at the Knights of Columbus is,
Hall, yeah.
I'm sorry?
At the hall, yeah.
At the hall,
Knights of Columbus
4 to
Hall.
7 p.m. They're doing a prayer at 6:45, and then there's a mass tomorrow at 10:30. So, sounds like everyone knows, but just in case. And it's under a funeral, David Pickering website if you need more information.
So, you ready? My turn? Okay, so I've been doing a lot for outreach. So, unlike Mary Ellen, I can't think past December. In November, I partnered with Westborough Connects for Kindness Week. We were able to donate cases of water to seniors that were delivered. They were donated by Red Barn. We also asked for flower deliveries, so some homebound seniors got some flower deliveries. They also got some store-bought baked goods. So Westborough Connect really helped out with that. So we probably did between 30 and 40 seniors with that program. Then I moved on to leaf raking. So with Chapel of the Cross, Girl Scout troops, National Honor Society, Student Council, and one family from Kindness Week, we helped over 20 seniors get their yards raked. So I got great reports about that.
That's great service.
Yeah.
I just missed it.
You did. Next year.
I know, I already hired somebody.
Yeah. So they did a great job. So now I'm really busy with the holiday project. So we get donations from Westborough Senior Center supporters, Roach Brothers. There's Jensen Hughes on Computer Drive that donates a bunch of gifts for their staff, helps out, and also Rhythm Dance Studio. So they help. I ask them for whatever I think a senior in need wants, and then they provide it. So they've been excellent the past few years. So we've really been able to help a lot of seniors get presents that might not, have family or not get a gift. So that's been really popular. So I am working to finish that up because that is a lot of work. Then also I've been doing a lot of fuel assistance applications. The good news is I think they're a lot better than they were last year. The recertifications could be submitted prior to November 1st, so a lot of those people have already received their award letter. It does look like the funding is a little bit less than it was last year. So a lot of people that were recertifications already know what will be funded to them. And then I do have a bunch of new people that submitting new applications. I've also been doing mass health applications and renewals, housing applications. I've been working with Westborough Cares, which is Mary Tabor, Nan Ford, and Julia from Youth and Family Services. So we've been kind of talking about what's going on around the community. There is a lot of financial need out there. The resources just aren't there, even like how fuel assistance, it's less this year than it was last year. So a lot of people are out there struggling. So we're just trying to figure out how we can help. Then our Memory Cafe, we're having a luncheon on December 19th. So that will be a combination with our support group and the people that attend the Memory Cafe. And we are still doing the Saturday respite, so the next one I think is January 4th. So, and again, I can't think of what is even happening after the holiday project yet.
It's okay. Stephanie, I applaud everything that you're doing, and I hope that both you and Mary Ellen know that you have support behind you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I can drive, I can deliver, nothing heavy, but
Yeah.
please don't hesitate to call. Anything that you're asked to do is confidential. You don't say, I took, flowers to Yabe and, no. It's coordinated through here. And we just go and do. Gladly, happy with the smile.
Good job, girls.
Yes, absolutely.
That's about it,
Yeah.
hopefully. Until January.
What year?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So there'll be something for everyone out on that table out there. Just part of something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it looks like
Minutes.
minutes.
We're back.
So,
Yeah, good idea. It's been a long,
everybody can have an opportunity to read their minutes.
Men's club.
Are there any changes that need to be made? Okay.
Are you
The first-
referring to the
November 4th.
November
September,
4th.
November 4th?
November 12th is a separate vote. May I have a motion to accept?
Motion to accept the
Second.
November 4th as sent out.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we will move on to December 12.
I make a motion we accept November 12th.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the council?
Oh, Guido, you had a question about the bagel breakfast attendance? Maybe more of us should be attending those.
Oh,
I didn't know if we could maybe one person pick a month.
yeah, one of the things that we do is we have a select board and a department head member come once a month. And most months, I think, most months, I think I'm the only council member present at those. And it just, and I can't make it all the time. So I was suggesting that, we pick a day to go and so that there's always at least one member there. Or just encourage the council to attend. I mean, I feel like we're the host for them coming here, and it'd be nice to have one of us to introduce them to the rest of the seniors.
Yes.
I mean,
I have been attending
And Linda, I was gonna say,
regularly,
you've
but I've
been
had a
there
health issue.
Yeah, the last month or so.
So,
months, yeah.
um,
But you're right, you and I have been the ones that.
So it's the
have
third
represented.
Tuesday of the month.
Third Tuesday.
At 9:30.
Tuesday,
Conflicts with our
9:30.
status meeting now that we have.
It's
Yeah,
such
oh,
a
yeah.
great way
I
to
mean,
sit.
that's-
It's
starts at 10.
casual.
Can't remember.
Is it at 8:30 or 9?
9:30.
It's at 9:30, third Tuesday of the month.
9:30 is our
It's
Tuesday.
on the calendar.
And there are.
So I would just
nice
encourage
gatherings.
anybody
There
that
are
can make that.
folks that are
Yeah, I
not.
went to the one with the police department.
Oh, the
that
breakfast
was-
with the chief.
Yes, breakfast, that was
with the
wonderful,
police
but I do
department.
wanna, I think I like the select members. The select committee, so I think, and I like bagels, so it's a win-win.
That's right.
But this does interfere with the Tuesday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I had to miss the last one.
Yeah, we've had, yeah. Yes, it does.
So you keep
But
us
that's
from
once a
eating our
month.
bagels.
I know. Well, you can come do that and then jump on the call.
Oh, that's
Eat your
true,
bagel.
that's true.
You can even eat your bagel on the call if you want.
Thank you, I'm gonna write this down.
And thank you for remembering.
Okay. So if someone wants to pick a month, you know, between all of us, we should be able to do it, but,
Well,
you know, think about it.
as long as everybody
Yeah.
knows
Yeah.
about it now and tries to attend, whoever can.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll mention it, because that way it isn't one person attending a multitude of them, just kind of spread it around the council.
And Bob Washburn has come, I've seen.
Not lately though, so I just made a note.
So anyway, if there is no other business to come before the council today, I would like to ask somebody to make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.